Hey folks, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition here for the past few years. I publish my work on DMsGuild.com. There's actually a slew of links in the description down below. You can check out previous things I've created and open up the previews to see the type of work that I create. And for the past year here, I've been focusing my attention on building this supplement, Spelljammer Combat Exploration. It's a deep dive into alternate mechanics for combat, ship rolls, as well as adventuring stuff like traveling through wild space, the astral sea, and a bunch of incidental mechanics that don't often need to be thought about in normal adventuring. But if you really want to take your Spelljammer campaign seriously, these are things that you can think about during the course of your campaign that we're providing mechanics for in this book. It's about 100 pages overall, and it'll also be on the DMs Guild once it's published, and there'll be a link down below for you guys to check it out. But one of the things that people don't often think about in adventuring is the lifestyle that you maintain. Normally in D&D, you're running around out in the wilderness, you're hunting and foraging for food, or paying a la carte at hotels and truck stops along the way. You don't really ever have to really think about maintaining a lifestyle, but when you're aboard a ship, you don't have anywhere. You could be aboard that ship for weeks, months, or even years. So you need to think about, what am I bringing aboard the ship to stay hydrated, to keep myself fed, to keep myself entertained and comfortable. So if you don't have these amenities, you start to descend down the spiral towards poor, squalid, and even a wretched lifestyle where you don't even have any food or water and you're slowly dying, which risks infestations, mutinies, and other hazards, which we can discuss on a separate segment in the future. But you want to maintain at least a comfortable lifestyle aboard your ship so that you have enough amenities and comfort, literally, so that you aren't trying to tear each other's throat off so you can ward off the effects of a mutiny. So we want to make it easy for you to be able to maintain costs and to calculate it so you're not playing, accounting and heart attacks. So we can see here we're going to use aristocratic lifestyle as the maximum cost per individual over a period of time. Aristocratic, you can see here, it's 10,000 gold pieces per day or more. It's 10,000 gold pieces minimum. So if we want to maintain that sort of lifestyle aboard our ship, we need to figure out the duration. How long do we need to sustain that for? And how large of a ship are we going to have to supply to be able to maintain all of that for your crew? So we have some very, very simple math that we go with. First off, when we're looking at ships, Spelljammer Combat Exploration has two categories of ships. There's fighter craft. Like if we want to use Star Wars as a reference, TIE fighters are about 35 feet wide. X-Wing fighters are 45 feet long. Both of those fighter craft are 50 feet or smaller. But if you've seen those movies, you're basically sitting in a pilot seat. You can't do that for months or years. You just can't. You can't live that way. So you have to have something large enough for you to actually live on. So most people that are coming in from 2nd edition that played back in the day when Spelljammer first came out, or that picked up the 5th edition Spelljammer's Adventures in Space that Wizards put out in August in 2022, most of these ships are going to feel familiar to you. The Damselfly ship is about 100 feet long. That occupies a 2x2 space on a map grid of 50-foot squares. So like a size large creature occupies a 2x2 space at the 5-foot scale, and it's 10 feet in size. Similarly, a damselfly is 100 feet long. It occupies a 2x2 space at the 50-foot scale. In comparison, a hammerhead ship is 250 feet long, so it occupies a 5x5 space at the 50-foot scale grid map. So we use that as our base calculations for how much does it cost to maintain a lifestyle. So the base assumptions, so that you don't have to think about it at all, is for every 50 feet of ship, you're maintaining a lifestyle for up to 10 medium-sized creatures for a duration of 1 season, which we round off to be 100 days. If you want to grind down the math so it's like 92 days per season, and you only need to have aboard your hammerhead ship, you only actually need about 17 people to make it work the way that you want to, you can take our base mechanics and then break down the math and then math finder your way to how much you have to spend if you really want to nickel and dime it, because some people are into that. You can use this to extrapolate those individual expenses if you want to, but we want to try to make this as easy as possible. So again, a 50-foot space for 10 medium-sized creatures for 100 days. 10 times 100 is 1,000 times 10 gold pieces per person. That's going to be 10,000 gold per season per 50 feet of space. And that's for the cost of maintaining the ship, all the food and drink aboard the ship, amenities, comforts enough to keep you happy and not mutinying and trying to kill each other because you're getting cabin fever over the course of months. No, we want to make sure that you have enough entertainment to maintain morale so there's no mutiny. And we want to maintain a lifestyle that's solid enough that you don't have infestations, disease, or other hazards that you can face in space, which we can explore in a separate segment in the future as well. So it also, having a, if you allow your lifestyle to degrade, it affects the quality of your crew's performance when they're performing combat or assisting you in exploration for like doing spot checks and all the different exploration mechanics that you would use in 5e to run an adventure. That can be impacted if your crew isn't having a lifestyle that is being maintained. So a hammerhead ship being 5 squares at the 50-foot scale, 10,000 gold pieces per 50 feet per 10 crew. A hammerhead ship 250 feet long can maintain an aristocratic lifestyle for up to 50 crew member in 100 days at the cost of 50,000 gold per season. That is a lot of gold. So again, let's make it easy for you. What if you want to just automatically offset the cost by, say, using downtime activities to transport cargo from one community to another, playing the role of a warrior merchant, collecting goods, taking them to another location, picking up mercenary tasks along the way, making sure that you're not actually risking your cargo supply while you're adventuring. You might want to have a couple fighter ships aboard your ship that you can deploy to go land at an asteroid or at a community to engage in adventure without actually having to risk your vessel that you may keep in orbit nearby. So if you check this out here, it's 10,000 gold weighs 5 tons. And we have calculations that I won't bore you with the math here, but we have in the supplement here some pretty basic rules about how to calculate the weight and cargo of a vessel based on the size of it and the material that it carries. Heavy materials like metal and stone weigh a lot and don't leave a lot of inventory space available for cargo. When I was creating this, did some Google research, and it turns out back in the Spanish Armada days, a galleon that weighed 500 tons could maintain or could carry 500 tons of cargo as well, and it would maintain buoyancy. If you had less cargo, obviously you would maintain buoyancy there as well, but if you had more than that 500 tons, you're overburdening the ship, and it could risk capsizing or sinking or splitting a seam and then starting to flood. It would encounter hazards. So using that base math of you have a certain amount of weight, in this case, the galleon weighing 500 tons by itself and coincidentally being able to carry about 500 tons of cargo means that 150-foot ship is going to be able to have about 1,000 tons of mass that's floating on the water and being able to retain buoyancy. The ship itself weighs 500 tons, leaving 500 tons of cargo space. The total amount before it risks sinking is 1,000 tons. So we simplified that and reduced it. And so in this situation, for instance, having a composite material, which is like the mid ground between light and heavy content, like heavy being metal, light being wood, a composite material would be like a mix of like metal binding and reinforced structure over a skeleton over a wooden frame, for instance, would give you a composite material that then splits basically 50-50. A composite material is basically for however many tons of weight it has, it can maintain that much cargo as well and still be able to perform and travel as expected. So you have 250 tons of cargo that you can have aboard a hammerhead ship, and you only need to allocate 25 tons of that to maintain an aristocratic lifestyle for your crew. That means you're leaving 225 tons of cargo open to maintain, to be able to transport goods. And so if you can, if an aristocratic quality of cargo supplies is going to break down to approximately 2,000 gold pieces per ton. So for you to be able to maintain a 50,000 gold piece per season price tag for your ship, that's only going to be 25 tons of aristocratic quality cargo that you're carrying over the course of 100 days to maintain a level lifestyle. As you get lower quality commerce that you're transporting, the price per ton erodes as well. A modest quality of goods is going to fetch you approximately 500 gold pieces per ton. So to maintain a aristocratic lifestyle, transporting modest goods at 500 gold pieces per ton, you need to transport over the course of 100 days 100 tons of modest or better materials for trade going from community to community. So if you want to build downtime activities to frame a reference for downtime traveling from one location to other over weeks or months, you can have your ship you can build trade routes, and then when you go to a community, you can do negotiation checks to see what level of quality material is available and where does it need to go, and how long is it going to take for you to get there, how much material you're carrying, and how much profit is that producing for you. So if you wanted to get a little math findery and play accountants and erasers, then you could break all that down. But generally, you can just wash that away by having just simply a downtime activity of transporting goods from one location to another by filling your cargo hold and sallying forth once per season or per 100 days. You perform this task, it can automatically resolve the level of lifestyle that you want. But we can go deeper. So scrolling down here, there's restocking supplies. So the type of lifestyle that you want to maintain for yourself is going to depend on the level of community that you're at. You can't expect to find aristocratic quality goods to supply a 250-foot ship if you're in a small village. Chances are they're just not going to have the resources and the crafting community and the commerce available to accommodate you. So you have to be going to different communities that are going to sustain what you need. So you can get aristocratic level materials to restock your ship in a city community. If you're only maintaining a comfortable lifestyle, you can do that in a town. Here's the amount of time that it's going to take for you to resupply, which is also the amount of time that you could take to get a cargo shipment aboard your ship to move off to another location. So if we're staying with this aristocratic lifestyle, for you to be able to fully stock up a ship for 100 days or 25 tons, that's going to take D4 days plus 1 day per 50 feet of ship. If we're talking about a hammerhead ship, that's 5 extra days. So it's going to be a D4 plus 5 days, anywhere from 6 to 9 days for you to go out, locate, acquire, bring on board, and then properly stash or stow all of that supply before you're up and ready to go. You can do it much faster if you only want to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. A hammerhead ship in a town would be able to get 3d8 hours plus 1 hour. That's going to be 5 hours. So it's going to be 3d8 hours plus another 5 hours. So it's going to take you roughly maybe half a day. Maybe you'll have to stay overnight to get that level of supplies, but then you can boost out of there. But any of these levels of supplies, you're going to be able to, with your ship, you're going to be able to stock up your ship and move to another location. Just depends on what communities are you going to, what resources do they need. And this is an opportunity for your DM to have reasons for pirates, privateers, enemies or even giant creatures to come and attack your ship because of the supplies, the cargo that you have aboard. If you have a pirate ship that's willing to maintain a modest lifestyle and target rich yachts flying from the Rock of Brawl around the Tiers of Saloon, you could potentially hit that thing with an aristocratic lifestyle and loot it to grab up like a damselfly with an aristocratic lifestyle that's on a say a 3-day cruise to show off the tiers. That would be having about maybe 20,000 gold pieces worth of amenities aboard that ship that you could then scoop off of in your pirate pirate hammerhead ship, 250 feet long. You only have to have, for a comfortable lifestyle, 10,000 gold. So you could afford to ransack that damselfly with its aristocratic lifestyle. You only need 10,000 gold of that ship to maintain your lifestyle for the next 100 days. So you could loot that ship, depending on how well you loot it. Maybe the DM rolls a D10 to see how many thousands of gold that you get, or a D20, or however you want to calculate it. But you could potentially get 20,000 gold worth of materials that then, if you fenced it, like say an Am flew down to Am and then fenced that 20,000 gold worth of aristocratic lifestyle provisions, maybe you're going to get 50 cents on the dollar. So you're going to get 20,000 gold pieces worth of loot, translates into 10,000 gold pieces worth of commerce that you could then expend on a comfortable lifestyle for your 250-foot ship and your 50 pirate friends. It's only going to cost you 10,000 gold. That one run looting that ship fed your team for 3 months. And now maybe you need to leave town for a couple months. So it might end up being a wash. But while you're out there, you can adventure, find treasure, convert magic items, sell them on the market to be able to get gold pieces. That, again, it's using these mechanics is very easy. What happens, though, if you're stuck out in space too long and you get ill-equipped? So you then have the risk of depleting your lifestyle. So when you hit 100 days and you haven't had a chance to restock supplies, you're going to make a supply check. It's a D20 plus the lifestyle maintained die modifier. So you're going to roll a D20. We use proficiency dice a lot in this game. So that's going to be a D12 for aristocratic lifestyle. So it's a D20 plus a D12 plus 5. If the result is at least 31 between those dice and the modifier, if it's 31 or better, you've stretched your supplies to be able to maintain that lifestyle. The amount of time it's going to last is going to be the duration that you roll on your supply die. So if I rolled a 19 on my D20, I add my plus 5, that's going to be a 26. So if I roll, a 19 die roll plus 5, that's a 24. And then if I need to hit a 31 or better, if I roll a 7 or better on my D12, like say I roll a 7 on the money, then great, I was able to maintain my aristocratic lifestyle, and I won't have to check again for 7 days. But at the end of those 7 days, I have to roll again. And if, like, say this time I rolled a 4 on my D20, I rolled a 12 on my supply die, and then my plus 4 on my plus 5. So 4, what did I roll? 4 on the D20. 4 plus 5 is 9. Say I rolled a 12. That's going to be 9 plus 12 is 21. Nowhere near what I needed on my DC. But that 21, that's good enough for a comfortable lifestyle. So since I couldn't maintain an aristocratic lifestyle, it's going to erode. And it'll erode to the quality of DC that I succeeded at. And of course, a DC 1 will always succeed with a squalid lifestyle. So in this example, I rolled a 12, but I only got a total result of 21. So I'm now at a comfortable lifestyle, but I'll maintain that comfortable lifestyle for 12 days. At the end of those 12 days, if I haven't restocked my supplies yet, it's going to erode again. I'm now at the comfortable lifestyle. So I'm going to instead roll a D8 plus 3 plus the results of my D20. All I have to do, I can't ever get wealthy or aristocratic back until I go to a community to resupply. So while I maintain travels in space, I'm now on a comfortable lifestyle. Let's say I roll a 19, a 1, and then I add my plus 3, right? So that's going to be a 19. I'm automatically going to succeed because the die roll by itself. But I only rolled a 1 on that D8. That means the next day, it only lasted for 1 day. So the next day I have to roll again. And let's say I rolled a 1 and a 5 plus 3. That's a total of 9. That's nowhere sufficient to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. So a day later, comfortable slides all the way down to poor because 9 is better than poor. but worse than modest. So I've now slid down to a poor lifestyle. Again, I have my D20. I add a D4 to it. It's going to be pretty easy for me to be able to maintain a poor lifestyle when the narrative is coming off of an aristocratic lifestyle, right? You can see how that, like, once you're at a poor lifestyle, you can kind of let it stretch out. But if you eventually fail that and drop down to a squalid lifestyle, that's where you stay. You no longer have to really worry about rolling the DC because you're automatically going to succeed. A natural 1 is already as bad as it gets. But it could get worse because you're not quite wretched. You're still stretching out what squalid amounts of food you have available, and you're eking out some, maybe you're drinking each other's pee, who knows. But as soon as that duration is a 0, your team mutinies. So your crew will, then you can go down and we can look at in a future segment what the results of a mutiny is. It could also perhaps maybe have create a disease or something, some other hazard could arise aboard your ship as a result of you letting its quality go so far that your ship is at knife point. Take us home, or we're going to eat you. So there you go. So that's a quick crash course there. There's obviously a lot more to it. Looking at ranks, we'll look at how ranks affect the die results on your team, how it affects combat, how you can work on improving rank. We'll also at some point look at, in a future segment, at hazards and what they can do to your ship as well as a deeper dive into combat, ship rolls. All these things are coming up. But that's it for today. So if you thought this stuff was cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'd love to have you guys check this stuff out. I stream the artwork. I made this book in our morning art stream that runs Monday through Fridays. You can check out there will be a playlist down below that you can click into, and you can start jumping on board that as well if you want. You can catch me on Twitter at Phil Kearney, and we'll have a Discord channel up and running soon. When I do, I'll make an announcement about that. So definitely make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you can get those notifications. If you think this stuff is cool, once it publishes, we'll have a link for you down below. In the DMsGuild, there'll be a link for you guys to check out the free preview. And we have about 80 tokens for ships, creatures, NPCs from Light of Zaraxis, as well as the Spelljammer Adventures in Space, and all the maps that you need for Spelljammer Light of Zaraxis using these mechanics. So check that stuff out. It should be publishing in January. So that's we're mid-December right now. So next month-ish we'll be publishing, and then we'll be able to continue building on this and sharing more ideas. So thanks a lot for checking it out. I look forward to catching up with you guys later on. Thanks.